of Graph Builders Office Hours this Thursday, March 27th, and we are joined by the Pond3r team. This is Teresa and Ivan, and these two were the winners of the Agentic Ethereum Hackathon. They got the Graph Prize, and I am really happy to have them on. So we're just going to be hanging out here for a few minutes while people filter in. How's it going, everybody? Julio, how you doing? Toaster, Moonboy, Yarrow, how's it going? We got TG, we got Rhizome, Jumaru, how is it going, everybody? Jana, thank you so much for helping as well on short notice. So, welcome, guys. Welcome, Teresa. Welcome, Ivan. And say hi to everyone on the stream. If you guys
Hello
could
there.
introduce yourself,
Hey,
that'd be great.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm Teresa. Ivan and I have been working together for a while now. And I come from the Web 2 traditional world, but I've been already in Web 3 for like a few years now, like 4 or 5 years. Ivan has been my mentor, and yeah, we participated in the Agentic hackathon. With this idea, turned out to be a nice idea, so we wanted to carry on with this, and here we are. Presenting today. We want to get your feedback 100%, what you like, what you don't understand, and see how this beta works. And yeah,
Awesome.
looking forward.
Awesome. And Ivan, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Juan. I'm a software engineer. I've been working on also traditional finance for 15 years ago. Then I moved to Web3 world where I work for some projects for protocol labs. Also collaborate with the Graph in the first wave of the Graph grants where I built a library there.
Oh, very cool.
From there, working on different projects, and now we started to work in this.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's awesome to have you guys on today. And coming from a Web 2 background, Web 3 background, I'm sure the building experience from the past and the present is all coming together in this product here, which I'm excited to learn more about. I was able to look through the product a little bit myself, and I'm excited to see and hear what you guys and how you guys thought about it and how you guys built it. So with all that being said, a quick announcement I'd like to share before we get into this. The token API beta is now live. So let me just share my screen real quick with everyone. The token API is right here. And if you go ahead and go to the Graph products, the token API beta is in thegraph.com. You can sign up for the beta. This is absolutely worth trying out. And what's possible token API? Token balances, token transfers, historical token prices, historical token OHLC, and top token holders. And so please give us a sign up if you are interested in trying. Sign up for the beta. That is something that is launching very soon, and we want feedback. We want to know what you guys are building, how you guys are building it, and understanding this is key to us building better for you guys. So with all that being said, that is the announcement for the day. I'm going to go ahead and pass this right back over to Teresa and Ivan, who is going to be able to share with us how they built their product, Pond3r. Take it over, guys.
Okay, thanks a lot. I'm going to start by sharing a presentation I prepared. And please feel free to ask any questions whilst I'm presenting. I think that will make it easier. Okay, you see my screen? You see my screen?
Yep, see the screen beautifully.
Okay. So I'll give you a bit of background how we came around this project. So Ivan and I have been working together in several projects for the past 4 years or so. And we realized that it was always the data part that it was kind of like more time consuming and more expensive for us. And now even more with all this explosion of AI agents and all these applications that consume a lot of data. So our experience in the past was that whenever you want to create a project, you first needed to understand what is the data that you need, actually, like what are the fields that you need. Then you need to look for the subgraphs that met the criteria of what you were looking. So you could be scrolling down thousands of subgraphs. Then you needed to do individual queries on those subgraphs, consolidated on a database, do all of the data aggregation, structure the data, clean the data, and then at the end, after a while, you can then start playing out with your app or your AI agent. And this was like very time consuming. Not everybody has the sufficient knowledge to do this work. And then it's not data even like the core of your business. It's just an input that you need to do to deal with the rest. So this is why we realized, how can we make this process better? And we came up with Pond3r, which, by the way, was known as Datrix during the hackathon. So how it works now is we've created a process by which, using natural language prompts, you can get to the data that you need. So when you do a prompt to Pond3r, what it does is analyze what is the data that you need and what is it that you're trying to do. So then it goes through the different protocols that they're on the subgraph. So it does an analysis. And through that analysis, identify, just as you would do it manually, what are the subgraphs that might be interesting for you. Then performs a similarity matching. And you might find that there are like 20 subgraphs that could be helpful for what you're trying to do. And so it goes and ranks them through signaling. So what are the ones that are going to work best for me? What are the ones that has more completed data? And you might find that you actually need two different subgraphs, because one contains X like amount of data from one protocol, and what other you need another subgraph that needs the other type of data from another different type of protocol. So then it selects those sources and starts the processing all of the data. So it goes through the schema analysis, the entity identification, and then it creates a single query. So then what happens here is that it goes through the standardization process and the aggregation logic. So it says like, okay, this is the data that I need. How do I standardize the data? How do I aggregate this data so I don't need to do two different queries? And then it ends up providing you a unique source of data for your project based on what you need. So for instance, an example that we're going to see later on, imagine that you say like, I want to see what are the tokens that are being most bought in Uniswap from Farcaster users. So then you'll get this correlation through our API from a single prompt in plain English. And then you can plug that into your apps. And we also allow you to generate an agent kit for your agent if that's what you're doing. Some use cases for this, you can power, as we said, like AI agents. You can do quick data exploration without any technical setup. You can do cross-protocol data aggregation, conversational data analysis, real-time market monitoring, and loads more. This is just like a few ideas that we came up with. So now I'm going to show you how actually you can test it out. So first thing, this is the agent that we have for you to try what kind of data you are going to get and how is it going to show to you before you actually plug in the API. So let's imagine, like, I don't know, like I want to play around with this, or I just want to use this agent. I'm going to just use one of the examples that you have here, but you guys can go and check it out. Like, this is fully working. You can try any prompt that you want here. You can add like, okay, what's the data that you have, right? And then, for instance, before you're actually going to go and plug your API to your app, you can ask this question, even though you can find this on the documentation as well. shouldn't. Should I try a
Okay.
different one? Maybe.
Yes, that shouldn't be so long.
Yeah, yeah.
If we are in demo time and all
Yeah,
this,
demo time.
It's
This will
always
happen
the
with
same
demos.
thing. Let me
maybe
refresh.
yeah, maybe we can try with the prices or yeah, or
Yeah, I promise this doesn't happen. Yeah,
There we go.
okay. For some reason, yeah, it's a bit about like I can guarantee that shouldn't happen. So I'm gonna ask something different, like podcast and trending topics.
Awesome. And just so you guys
Uh,
know, there's
yeah.
some interest in the chat of a team
Okay.
member that's curious about what you guys are building, and this person that's curious about what you are building is a very good builder. is is very good. So they're liking what you're building.
Oh, really nice. I promise this is the Murphy's Law, and I promise this never happens.
Always. And
All
there we go.
right, see, here we come. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, like, okay, so I asked what are the trending topics on Farcaster, and here there are. So it's something very interesting to know is that on this data aggregation, what we do is add in an additional layer of intelligence. So you wouldn't get, I mean, like if you go to Farcaster, you won't get this analysis on what are the trending topics, right? Or you
Mm.
wouldn't get, for instance, what's the sentiment or something. So we do add certain layers. So for example, if you wanted to ask what are most popular gaming NFTs, right? Like if you can't get that directly from a graph unless that is of graph, unless that you know exactly what are the protocols that you're looking for. But thanks to Pond3r understands what you're looking for, and therefore it goes and says like, okay, they might be looking for the sandbox, they might be looking for Axie Infinity, whatever, they might be looking for Solana stuff. So this is an added value that you will find regardless of whether you're using the agent or the API. This is always the same. So now I'm going to be sharing the documentation. So if you wanted to say like, okay, I like Pond3r, I want to plug it in. So we have this documentation where you can find like all the examples and stuff like that. And then it's just as simple as coming to the API reference. Actually, I yeah, like you can click here on Pond3r API endpoint and try this. Ivan is going to go through this in an example, but basically it's really simple. You just do a query prompt and explain how you want to get the data, and that's it. It's super simple. I don't know if I'm gonna hand over to Ivan. So I don't know if there's any questions so far here, like conceptually, because now it will turn a lot more technical.
Yeah, no, I'm the conceptual questions. I think you answered beautifully. I want to know how it's built. I'm like, oh, where are you? Like, I'm already thinking, are you going to IPFS? Are you like, how are you pulling this in? Like, but yeah, I'm excited to see that next step here.
Yeah.
Already wonderful demo, and already seeing the use cases here. So, and in terms of the chat, there's not been questions, but more of people being like interested. This is a roadmap thing. So,
Yeah, please make suggestions, or like there's a lot of things we're trying to figure out now. So and it depends on how people wants to use Ponder. So
sure,
please suggestions, let us know, please.
sure. All right, awesome. Take it over, Ivan.
yeah. So I was actually doing some tests and I was working. So you can ask the agent everything what the data can the agent provide. So
Real quick, Ivan, can you make your screen a little bit bigger?
yes.
Yeah, thank you
Uh,
so much. Perfect. Yeah, yeah, big as possible is always best when you're on tiny
okay.
screens.
So you can use this predefined example or just chatting with the agent with like in other chat AI chat. And I'm going to give more technical overview on how this works. In the app you have the docs here, so you can go and read everything, how the agent is working, what data is available, because we have several data sources, but more on the technical side on how Pond3r works is, I don't know if this is going to be visible, but what the
Yeah,
agent is
that's good enough. That's big enough size. Yeah.
okay. So what the agent is doing is receiving this prompt from the user and understanding what are the data needs. And first, what the agent does is find the best data source for that. We have several data sources. For everything related with on-chain data, we are using the graph protocol. So everything that is related with on-chain protocols is going to be redirected to these data sources. We also have prices using Python network, but knowing that there is a new API on the graph, maybe we should switch to this new API. And we have another API that is a project that we made before that is called Handle Finder for everything related with social data. This is where we are getting data from Farcaster, analyzing this data and storing this data and getting some sentiment over the cast and all over the tokens that the community is trading. And then we have another data source that is more internal. This is for the data that can be found on all these data sources on real time. For instance, if you want to get some API, this needs some pre-compute before. So what we are doing is getting this data from the subgraph, and aggregating this data and computing this data, storing in our databases. For when the user needs this specific pre-compute data, is already prepared for the user. So when the agent has identified all the different subgraph, one or several that is going to fulfill the request, is getting the data from all the different subgraphs, standardizing the data and returning the data to the user. As I said, we have several data sources. For on-chain data, we are using all these subgraphs. For now on, we are using just some subgraph for testing this app. The idea is expand all these subgraphs to potentially use all the subgraph available on the graph network. So any query that the user can send can find any subgraph and fulfill the request. We have also price data, social data, and this compute data that is more related with pre-compute data, where we need to do some calculation and storing in a optimized format to fulfill the request. We have API, social sentiment for Farcaster protocol, and the tokens that have been traded there. Also, on the documentation, you can find some query examples where you can get some examples of how can get the price of these specific coins, or how can get some data related with pools unusual, like the volume or the TBL. Everything that is supported on a subgraph, the agent is going to trying to find this specific entity, create the query, and fulfill the request.
Yeah. One thing I would like to add is that, same as we said that we do pre-process and do some calculations at like sentiment, another thing that we realize is that there's a lot of stuff that people will constantly be doing after they receive the data, like for instance, calculating the APY, sorry. So we said like, okay, we're gonna do this for people, so because then you get it done, so it's faster for you, and you don't need to go through this processing of data before you then want to use it again. So there's a certain layer of stuff and calculations we have added, so it's straightforward, and you don't need to work on the data after you've received it.
Yeah. A part of the agent where you can play around and get all the data that you can find we also have an API that is going to be more interested if you are going to use in a programmatical way. So this API is really simple. It's just one endpoint where you can send a prompt and get the result. So you can actually try this API here in the documentation. Right now we don't have API, so you can use any API, send the prompt and get the response. But if you want to use the API in your programs, we have some examples here on how to use using TypeScript and Python and get the data in a more structured way. So for instance, this example is going to get liquidation data from Aave protocol, Aave V3 protocol on base, and is asking the agent to get this data in a specific format. Like I want the user data to be liquidated, the liquidator, the token, collateral, and so on. And just calling the API with this specific prompt is going to get the response. So I have an example here. All these examples are available in our GitHub repository, so you can just clone it and play around with this. We have the Python version and the TypeScript version. For instance, this is the TypeScript version, so you can define the schema that you are going to expect the agent to return and call the API with the query that you want to get. In this example, the user want to get the last 10 liquidation on Aave, V3 on base, and is expecting this specific schema. So we are saying the agent that only this should be returned. And then we are parsing all this data because this data is already structured and doing a console log of this data. So you can check that once the program is run, we can actually call in the agent. The agent is returning all of this data and in this specific format, the format that we require, and then we are parsing all this data and doing just a console log here. But this applies to anything. I mean, now that you have the data and you have the structure that you are expecting, you can use this data in a dashboard, in sending an agent or whatever. And what is more, I think what is more useful for me is that if you want to merge data from several protocols or several subgraphs, it's always like more a pain. You need to define several schemas, doing the mappings and so on. And here what you can do is just asking the agent to do this for you. So you can ask, give me the last liquidation on Aave V3 on base and optimism, or on Aave and compound. And the agent is going to figure it out what a subgraph needs to query, the query that needs to run on this subgraph, and then map all this data to return this kind of object that you can actually use in your programs. So I think that this is basically it.
I wanted to share a handle from there. Actually, I'm going to share if that's okay. So it's an example of how you can use the API for a real share screen. Yep. I'm going to take over, Ivan.
Okay.
So you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yep. Okay, so this is using the Pandas API. You can create a dashboard like this one, which is like sort of for decentralized social media exploration, where you can find what is people talking about and who's talking about, right? We categorize the topic. You can see how many people is buying certain tokens. You can see what is people buying versus what they are talking about. For instance, yeah, what are trending topics from the, like, you can filter by, let me filter on Firecaster. So you see like tokens, memes, apps and protocol gaming. You could filter out for AI, whatever you want to see. You can go identify pain points and concerns, the excitement, if you go into the DeFi section, you can see like what are the most popular tokens being bought by the community, the market cap. Then you can buy straight from here. See creators, what people has bought, and all of this is data that you don't need to work any. I mean, you already have all of this data ready to use in the way that you wanted to use.
Is there a link for this? We're
Which is
getting
what we want.
requests in
Yeah,
chat for a link
yeah.
for this handle finder.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we'll share in this now. Of course, 100%. So this is actually working. Like if you, this is a working product, you can set alerts and all that. But it's just an example of a working app that it's just using Pond3r. Just with Pond3r, you can get access to all of this. What is token mentions, whatever. We'll share this right now on the chat so you guys can. Let me see. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think that's it.
Let's see. Did you share that in the Riverside or the Telegram chat?
I'm sharing this on the Riverside.
Okay, so, perfect.
Find XYZ. Yeah.
There it is. Okay. All right, sharing that with chat. Yeah, we've got some questions here in chat. Are you guys ready to head into those questions?
Yep.
Of course.
Awesome. Let's go through these one by one. And this one's a fun one. Lewis is always in these chats asking great questions. He asks some tough questions. Can you run this prompt? And this is great for live demo. So may the demo gods be on your side. I'm going to copy paste this into the, here we go. Give me the top pairs last 42 minutes. I think that was what he wanted. Yeah. Get me the top pairs in the last 42 minutes, excuse me. Or better yet, where does the data stop? I think just start with that first line. Get me the top pairs in the last 42 minutes. Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
And see if that's possible.
Yeah. This is a very good question. So yeah, he is asking like, do we process historical data? Can we get more and more and more data? And from now, what the agent is doing is just sending one query for subgraph. So if you want to get data from this specific time frame, you're going to get what the agent can get in one query or maybe two queries. Something that we are also thinking on create, and this is something that we created in the hackathon, is the ability for the user to create a permanent endpoint. So you can ask the agent, I want to get this specific data. I need this specific data need, and the agent is going to understand that you need historical data. But maybe you want historical data from Aave, Uniswap, and wherever. So the agent is going to figure it out and persist this specific query in our database. And this is going to create an endpoint just for you. So the next time you call this specific endpoint, it's going to get all the data, and if you need to pagination, so the agent is going to skip and query over again on these graphs.
Very cool. Very cool. Got a little follow-up question with this one here. Could a prompt like, get me the list of Farcaster accounts that have at least one ETH be possible?
Right now, that won't be possible. I mean, this is something that we are working in, and this is really hard because we need to merge on-chain data with off-chain data, or different kind of, maybe not off-chain data, it's also on-chain, but we don't have this specific data available in subgraph. So this is what we are working on with the pre-compute data. But for that, we need to first figure out what people is interested in, because we can't pre-compute all the data in the blockchain. So if people is interested on social data, this is something that we are working on.
Got it.
So the thing is, we actually did this with Lens. So because Lens is all on chain. So if you ask that question, not today, because we need to push Lens. I don't think Lens data is already in, right? No. Okay, but we do have that information for length. We do have a lot more because of the way the protocol is built. And we wanted to do the same with Filecaster, but we don't know if that's what people want. So again, if that's something interesting for you, 100%, that will be a priority for us. We kind of like have different stuff that we want to keep on working on, but we just want to make sure that it's actually what the community wants. We don't want to develop stuff that people is not going to be using.
Totally get that. Totally
Yeah.
get that. Yeah. And so, any devs out there, please reach out to this team and their Twitter. I think that'd be the best place to get a hold of these guys with what you want built, because they're
Yeah.
already far along with building some awesome stuff. They just need some guidance and accuracy with that. I got another question. Let's see. Oh, this is a question actually from me. I wrote this down for myself. I was wondering, you said you do a subgraph analysis before sending a query to see what subgraphs are similar and different. How do you guys do that? How are you guys comparing different subgraphs that might be very similar but have slightly different return data before you send that query? And how do you pick the best one to send the query to?
So what the agent is doing is looking into the schema. All the subgraph have a schema definition with all the entities that the subgraph can get. What the agent is doing is finding the best to fulfill the request. Because in some cases, the name of the subgraph can be very similar, like Aave. But in some cases, this is related with on-chain data, like loans. But in other cases, it's related with governance, like Aave proposals. It's not related with what the user is doing, is asking for. So what the agent is doing is first looking into the schema, and if they can find what the user is asking for, creating a query for this specific subgraph. If can find this specific data, is going to try to find another subgraph. So it's this kind of iteration until the data is found.
Very good. Okay, just curious about that. A few other questions here. Any plans to use substreams?
Yes, and this is actually something that we are thinking for this kind of question that is related with other data that is not the subgraph, or for historical data. When you need to merge some data, it will be much easier if you can download all this data and query this data in a database or an external storage. And also getting data from chains like Solana that are more heavy on data.
Cool, cool, cool. We have one more question in chat here. Knowing that Token API is coming, literally in this live stream, how does Pond3r see their roadmap evolving should this Token API be tested and used?
Yeah, this is actually something that we were looking for, because when we implemented Pith network, we found that some user was asking for some specific coins that wasn't available on this API, because this is an oracle and this only have some specific tokens that are not available. So if we can plug into the new the Graph API, and this API have data from all the different tokens, I think that this will be amazing. I mean.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be happy to coordinate with you guys after this and make sure you guys get onboarded with this as easily as possible, because the announcement literally is coming out today, and all the blog posts, all the stuff like that is in the moment right now. So yes, absolutely something that is happening in real time, as crypto is known to do. So, with that being said, I shared in the chat, and I'll share it actually on screen right now for anyone live streaming, your Twitter. And would that be the best location to go ahead and reach out to you guys? The Pond3r XYZ with E is a 3. Would that be the best one to go to? Okay, perfect. So reach out to pond3r.xyz. I'm going to go ahead and share that on screen one more time for the sake of the live stream. And thank you guys in chat for jumping in today. And with anything else that you guys want to say in terms of calls to action with the developer community? I know we're going to keep on talking about the token API after this with you guys and myself. And is there anything you guys want to convey to the devs in chat right now?
I would say just try it.
Yeah.
I mean, we are happy to have feedback from you. You need to know that this is still in beta, so you can expect that in some cases can fail or can be more can take more than expected, like in the example. But just please try it, and any feedback is welcome. If you have any requirement, like you are expecting more data, other data sources, please let
Yeah.
us know, and we will
Yeah.
try to.
And any other feature, like for instance, we have this agent, like this agent kit for long chain agents. But if you wanted to have some for Lisa, whatever, like if you would like to see this in a different way, just please like anything. Like you might think like, oh, this is not good enough for me. So okay, so what it's missing, let us know. That's what we're trying to get to.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm having this on the screen here, makeit.ponder.xyz. Give it a try and let these devs know at their Twitter how it's going. Always got a few devs in chat that want to continue conversations. So overall, great job, guys. And thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. If this is your first time on Riverside with this thing, don't close your tabs as I
Okay.
say goodbye here because we'll lose the entire recording. So let's not do that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, right. But I'm going to close the stream right now and say thank you, everyone on Discord. Thank you, everyone that is tuning in on YouTube and on Twitter. Appreciate you attending and helping out and just paying attention to builders in crypto and Web3. It is a always evolving ecosystem, and as we can see, even on the live stream, it's evolving. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. And yes, Teresa, Ivan, please stay on screen as I close this. All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
All right, that went.